I remember the exact day, 3 years ago, when I was returning home from work, and I realized that I didn't want to come home, didn't want to return to the life I was living. Actually, everything was fine, no drama. My family and I were well, I had a good job, I was married, my husband and I had just renovated our apartment, and everything seemed to be going well. But I wasn't happy. I didn't feel an ounce of happiness. I came back home, locked myself in a bathroom, and cried all night long until morning. I was asking myself, what's wrong with me? What do I want? After all, I've got everything. Why doesn't it suit me? Am I living my own life? And how to understand it? How to feel happy? It was a very tough time, you know? I'm saying this now, and it was several years ago, but I'm still getting goosebumps all over my body. Back then, I couldn't answer a single question. Ira, what do you like? I don't know. And what do you want? I don't know. And who are you? What are your strengths? I don't know. And your weaknesses? Everything? It was so hard. I was completely lost. I didn't know where to start and how to find a way to the real me. I had no strength to continue living like this either. Probably the only thing I knew for 100% back then is that I do not want to live like this anymore. And I decided to make some positive changes. I got divorced. I remember the first idea which came to my mind was to find a true love, to find a true feeling, to find a true man. I thought he would help me for sure. The man of my dream will come, show me a new wonderful world, tell me who I am, say what I love. But it turns out that it doesn't work that way. In fact, it was the opposite, because every time I met someone, I had to tell something about myself. In other words, to answer all those questions that were bothering me so much. Dating was a very bad idea, and I felt even worse. At that moment, I realized that the only person who can help me is me, and that my life is my responsibility. Sad story, but true. Therefore, I believe that my path in finding myself began with an appeal to a professional psychologist. At first, I thought it was useless, because I was asked the same question I was asking on the dates and the same questions I was asking myself, and I didn't know the answers to them. But my psychologist guided me. I don't know how they do it, but I received such a powerful support, careful attitude toward my feelings, understanding, the opportunity to open up and tell the most terrible and stupid things about myself. I still remember her words. She said, Ira, let's try, slowly, step by step, like a turtle that crawls off its shell, and in case of danger, you can hide again. And I will be here by your side all the way through. And I started trying and discovering myself. Well, one of the highlights of finding myself was a decision to take part in a group therapy. I don't know how I agreed to that. I was an introvert. I was a very shy person. I didn't like people. But my psychologist told me, go, see how people react to you and what are you showing to external world. I liked this idea so much, and I decided to take a chance. It was winter evening when I went to the first group meeting. Oh, it was so scary. I bet you all saw in the movies how the Alcoholics Anonymous Club is going on? It's absolutely the same. You're sitting in the circle with a bunch of unknown people and say, hello, my name is Ira, and I'm, well, okay, not an alcoholic, but with lots of problems. Those were my first words, and I said them out loud only in the third session, because in the first two, I was sitting and thinking, oh my God, Ira, what are you doing here? That's ridiculous. All those people are weirdos, and they won't tell you anything, and certainly won't discover America for you. All I wished for was to stand up and run away as fast as I can. But, you know, it's also kind of difficult when you're sitting in front of 15 people. It was an interesting experience. There, I've learned what impression I make on people. I found out that actually people were afraid of me, afraid to come closer and say hi, and that I looked like a successful and self-confident woman who didn't need anyone, even a little arrogant, you know? But the truth was that my inner feelings and inner condition were exactly the opposite. Can you imagine that? Just cardinally opposite to what I showed to external world. I felt super lonely. I needed friends and support so much. But I never said it. I mean, saying by words, out loud. I never told people what I need from them. I never said to anyone, for example, you know, I'm so upset and I need your support. Or, hey, I like you. Let's go get some coffee. Well, after the show, okay. For some reason, I just said and waited for them to come to me, and I wanted them to invite me and guess my feelings. We had that exercise in the group. So you have to choose a person and tell this person that you like him or her and indicate what exactly you like about that person. I've never done something like this before, but there was one girl whom I really liked, and I pulled myself together and said, and I like you so much and your eyes so beautiful, it's impossible not to fall in love with them. I remember she smiled at me and said, oh, could you repeat that, please? I didn't make it out. I was so nervous and spilled out these words so quickly that it was impossible to understand them. And I repeated. In response, I've heard, wow, I never thought that you might like me, but it's super mutual. And since then, we became friends. Thanks to the group therapy, I've learned how to manage the way I look and the way I act. And now I know what type of person to be when I want somebody to like me and when I don't want that. And even if that arrogant woman pops up sometimes, I know why that happens and what to do about her. It was a great experience. But please, don't think it was always positive. I've got refuses as well. There was a case when I asked a man whom I really, really liked, to go out on a date with me. And he said, sorry, but no. I was so upset, absolutely devastated and heartbroken. Later on, I figured out that he was dating another woman, and he said no, not because he didn't like me, but because he was with someone else. But due to this situation and this no, I've learned two more things, two more insights. The first one is that there will be people who don't like you, and that's okay. But don't be afraid to speak up if you like someone. At least you tried, and you do not suffer later on wondering what if. And the second insight is that if something bad happens to you, no matter what, you need to go through it. Live through it emotionally. Let yourself grieve. Take as much time as you need. You want to cry? So cry. For a day, a week, a month, 2 months, half a year. After that comes an incredible relief. I didn't give up after hearing no and after failing. I kept looking for my true self. I changed my job. I have taken business English courses where I met absolutely amazing people. I've joined Women's in Arts Club, which helped me to understand that actually I like to communicate with people and that I'm not as much of an introvert as I thought I was. I overcame my shyness. I stopped worrying too much about what other people say about me. And that's not it. Over the past 3 years, I have done so much more I have done in my whole life. I tried wake surfing. I did some shooting. I played golf. And, I've got 3 tattoos, and I love them. So, don't be afraid to try new things in order to find out what you really like and what you really want. Only by trying something new, you can discover something new about yourself, understand yourself even better. Yes, there will be something you're not gonna like, but I promise, there will be something after what you're gonna say, this is it, I like it, that's me. And that's an incredible feeling. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from your loved ones for a while in order to be alone with yourself and your true desires. Don't be afraid to communicate and reach out to other people. Make first steps. Tell them about your feelings and needs. Don't be afraid to seek professional help when you feel lost and you do not know where to start. I am still looking for answers to all these questions. And some decisions in my life have not been made yet. And some of my personal plans have not been realized yet. It takes courage and time. But I know that I have already begun this path and made a good progress along it. All it takes to find your true self is to make a first step. Don't be afraid to make it. Thank you.